Hello students studying The Complete Mouse. I feel like you guys are pretty lucky because graphic novels are awesome. The Complete Mouse was actually my first graphic novel and I loved it. I loved being able to analyze not just the typical things that you can find in the book, like symbolism and metaphors and alliteration, but you know, the fact that you've got panels and shading and just the elements that a graphic novel can bring to the table gives you so much more to work with, which makes it easier for you as a student to do even better in your essays. And that actually segues pretty nicely into us breaking down an essay topic. I'm assuming you already know the story behind this novel. It's the story of Wladek Spiegelman, a Polish Jewish Holocaust survivor who experienced living in the ghettos and concentration camps during the Nazi regime. Some pretty heavy stuff. I've got plenty of awesome English advice coming out for you shortly, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel in order to stay tuned and improve your marks. Throughout today's video, I will be referring to LSG's 5 types of essay prompt strategy. It allows us to categorize any type of prompt you can possibly get, and it means that as soon as you get a new prompt, you'll know exactly how to approach the topic, what to include, and what to avoid. Let's explore how. Oh, this is so nice. The sun's finally coming out, my lord. Spiegelman's use of the graphic novel offers deep insight into the horror of what Wladek and others suffered. Discuss. If we think about the keywords of the prompt, insight, horror, and suffered, we can see that the majority of the prompt focuses on prominent themes within the text. But Lisa, what about the mention of Wladek in the prompt? Don't let that confuse you. What we want to look at is what makes up the basis of the prompt, and in this case, it's themes. Now that we know that we're dealing with a theme-based prompt, we can think of the essentials for any A+ essay of this type. Immediately, we know that the discussion and analysis within our body paragraphs should center around themes rather than characters or meta-language. These are still important. Rather than restricting you to solely talking about themes, a theme-based prompt simply requires that your arguments are based on what the author is trying to say about the major themes in the text and how these themes relate to one another. If we have another look at the prompt, the words Spiegelman's use of the graphic novel mean that we should make sure to talk about the form of the text in order to secure that A+. In this case, the theme of horror and the insight we're given is the what, and the use of the graphic novel is the how. Let's have a look with what we've come up with as a contention. While Spiegelman's use of the graphic novel gives insight into the horror that Wladek and many other Jews suffered, the novel also acts as a vehicle for Spiegelman to explore the effects of the relatives of survivors, seen in the strained father-son relationship and confused identities. Notice how this contention still revolves around the horrors of the Holocaust that we see throughout the novel, but it also allows room for us to bring in different horrific experiences and related themes that can broaden our discussion overall. So, as we move into our paragraphs, the first paragraph could be, Spiegelman offers readers an insight of his parents' struggles living as Jews during the reign of the Nazi regime, emphasizing the difficulty of surviving. Your first example could be Wladek's characteristic of being frugal, reflecting on the fact that he had to be strategic and resourceful in order to survive, as he reflects and tells Art that you have to struggle for life. Another example is the constant swastika symbol in the backgrounds to represent the Holocaust as being inescapable. Paragraph 2. Since many struggle to survive and lamentably fail in doing so, those who succeed are plagued by debilitating survivor's guilt, which Spiegelman explores through the novel. Anya commits suicide because she cannot deal with the survivor's guilt. And after being deeply traumatized from the atrocities committed by Nazis in concentration camps, many Holocaust survivors who also had difficulty assimilating to post-war life because they witnessed their loved ones and others killed. In this paragraph, we bring in how the horrific experiences, the key theme of the prompt, are shown to create different negative experiences, where people who survive experience a high level of guilt, another theme that can work closely alongside horror. So our third paragraph could be, the novel also offers readers insight into the lives and identities of the Holocaust survivors' children, who experience difficulty in truly understanding the past horrors. The first example could be, Art has a sense of guilt about having had an easier life than they did, because he has not had the first-hand experience of Auschwitz and thus cannot completely empathize with his parents. In example 2, we could use, I how Art recounts to his therapist, Pavel, that he couldn't do anything as well as Vladek could. Art is depicted as a child despite being an adult, whilst talking to the psychiatrist to represent his feelings of inadequacy. And there you have it. This is us just briefly touching on the 5 types of essay topics and how in this case we've identified it as a theme-based prompt. So this means that throughout our essay we want to base each paragraph on themes. If you want to learn more about the 5 different types of essay prompts, which there are character-based prompts, quote-based prompts, how-based prompts, and meta-language based prompts, so there's actually quite a few, then I'd highly recommend you have a look at my How to Write a Killer Text Response ebook. In this ebook, I cover each of the different types of prompts, how you can recognize each one, and what you need to include in your essay in order to really tick off those marks from your teacher and get that A+. I also offer you A+ essay examples based on those different prompts as well, so you have a real example in your hands that you can base your own essay writing off. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope that was helpful, and if it was, thumbs up.